Hello and welcome to a impromptu live Q&A and a huge announcement to come.
Woo!
Of course, I am Riley.
And I'm Trevor. And
And
I just want to say how fucking humble I am, though, from everybody that was in the chat today and said something like, oh my God, you guys are beautiful creatures.
yeah, you'll probably end up watching the last 2 seconds here in another time, but we definitely are so gracious of everyone that tuned in to the live and supported us because we are very proud of that documentary.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
I think it showed our character as well, being able to be friendly with complete strangers.
Yeah, I'll unapologetically us all the time is what you get.
We basically just proved, when you watch us every week, we are really genuine in being ourselves.
Yep.
So it's just a chance here for us to maybe dive into a little bit of the history that we didn't provide in the documentary that you may be looking for answers for, because it took a lot more research than we anticipated. And we thought because the way we've always done it in the past, if you're new to us, is we do an investigation and then we release a podcast episode on the investigation. So we thought, hey, what a better way to do it than do the live platform that we've been doing weekly.
Yeah, premiere and then talk about it. And there was plenty that wasn't on the screen that happened too that we didn't think correlated until after we watched everything back through and we're like, oh shit, that's actually pretty wild.
Yeah. So obviously, how it is with every paranormal investigation, you learn so much more after you even create the film that you created, and then you go through and you're watching other clips to maybe find a picture to snag out of something or whatever, and you find new context to things that didn't make sense beforehand. So if anyone in the chat has a question, throw it in there. We would be glad to answer it. I know there's probably questions on the Mildred story because there is more to that we have learned. So
yep. Also, I know one of the biggest looming questions is, what is the announcement? Riley, when are we going to say the announcement? Can we say it now, or are we going to wait?
You know what? Yeah, before we do the Q&A, let's just hop right into the announcement.
Let's just say what
it is
we're
freaking
doing.
huge. We shouldn't keep you waiting any longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds for a huge announcement. Come on. We're not going to do that to you. All right. So here's the deal. Tonight, we're going to be packing up. We're going to be going on a road trip tomorrow to Atlanta, Indiana, to investigate the haunted mansion, Asher Walton.
Auga.
AKA the Asher Walton house.
Yep.
You may have seen it with Paranormal Quest has been there. Epic Paranormal's been there. Spirit Stalker's been there. Clayton and his team have been there. So it's not a very well-known place, I would say. It's fresh in the paranormal wise.
And things are happening.
But yeah, it's super spooky. There might be something evil there. Literally last week, it put marks on someone. So, like I said before, though, I don't necessarily think that means it was evil. I think she just got touched by a ghost and it left marks.
Yep. So we got new toys to play with. We're gonna employ our night vision cameras. We're gonna 100% do something that we've never done before, which we're gonna challenge ourselves to something that I don't think I've ever heard of anybody else doing. Yeah. Oh, also, we're gonna be live because now we can go live on TikTok. Well, my TikTok at least, and then we'll get the word out there to which one you can tune into. So,
so we'll be doing our first ever TikTok live paranormal investigation. So I mean, there's just a whole bunch of new stuff that you're going to get to experience from us with us, and we're super excited about it. And you may notice the 3 different colored ducks behind Trevor there. There's a reason for those, and shout out to Spirit Stalkers for doing their challenge type thing. So we thought we'd have fun with it ourselves and do a What Goes Bump duck hunt. So what we're going to be doing is Jenna, his wife, myself, and Trevor are all going to have a rubber ducky. If anyone, I mean, obviously you've seen in our many of our investigations, we love using a rubber duck that lights up. Fortunately, those ones don't light up, but
we have a few that do though. So that's good.
But we're going to hide them throughout the house, and you're going to basically draw sticks. Whoever's duck you get, you have to find in the house by yourself in the dark.
Doing an Estes method.
Camera while doing the Estes method. So should be really interesting. and there is a bet on it as well. Loser.
The best part
buys
about it is we
breakfast.
can sit in the control room and they have static night vision cameras that are wired throughout the entire house. So all 16 rooms of this place are going to be like videoed. So we'll be able to be like, okay, let's go live, sit in front of the IR while one of us does the going under and going to find the rubber ducky. And it's like, who knows? Maybe a spirit will lead us to it. Maybe something crazier will happen. Who knows? I have no idea. At one point, I watched a video where a lady's necklace basically got snatched off her neck there. So anything's possible.
Yeah, and they had a music box playing that stopped all on its own and restarted.
Not only that, I've recently found out that they have, like, I want to say, like, almost a haunted museum, basically, of like attractions where they just have a big cabinet in the dining room, basically, full of these oddities that are apparently like have been given to them or are attached by some type of spirit because they have some stigma around it or something. I don't know. It's wild, but I'm so
they have the doll from the Bell Witch Cave legend.
Yep. Yeah, I mean this place is renowned around like its town of Atlanta.
Community. I think I'm excited to have a chance to it. Not only because it isn't like been on big TV shows or anything like that, but because it's a mansion. We've done an asylum, we've done a jail.
Yeah.
We've never done like a home. So
nothing like this.
Like literally a first ever, like in a mansion that has 13 bedrooms.
I know, and we get to sleep there. Like this is like they're basically treating it like an overnight haunted bed and breakfast, but they're not going to be there with us. It's just going to be us in the house. So it's like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Only 3 of us too. It's going to be so fun. It's been a while since we've got to do a big location like this, and I think finally we've hit the point where I'm really happy with where the videos are now. And I think if we employ a lot of the things that we were doing with the camera work and stuff, I think we're going to make something really special here. And I think that was just like the tester. And it's like, oh, it worked.
Candy says it was the cleanest haunted house ever. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That's what I've seen from like, the videos that are out there. Like it looks so clean. Like there isn't dust or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm over the moon. Like this is such a good opportunity for us to be able to really explore the unknown.
You got to remember the video that you just watched as well. We did that investigation in June. It took us this long to like get to where we were.
But I do think we definitely like scrapped 2 editions of it and restarted basically because we just weren't happy with the product we were going to put out, and it was not fair to you guys because I mean you guys have been like basically along for the ride. If you've been a diehard OG, like like it sounded like we were underwater at first on the podcast, and then we upgraded all of our stuff, and then we got better at that, and then we were like, oh, let's just try to do this investigating thing and record it. And neither of us have ever been in front of a camera. So it was weird, but now it's like I feel like natural and this is who I am. So I'm not, it's almost like thank you guys. Honestly, this is more about you guys than anything, because you've given me and Riley a platform to like be who we are, and I feel so much more confident and comfortable with myself because it's like, oh, I always thought it was taboo to think about this stuff or like think it's cool, or now it's like, wow, I've impacted somebody else's day and they've like actually enjoyed what I like wanted them to enjoy and put out there for them. So it's like, it's like, such a good feeling.
Everyone that we see in the chat like consistently, or
you guys are
like
fucking best
from something else. Like we are so grateful for everyone that supports us, and like because of you, we want to do like more investigations and everything, even though it is expensive. Like we want to figure out.
Me and Riley work 40 fucking plus hours a week. Like this isn't our full-time job. We'd love it to be, but this is all for you guys. Like as much as it's for us. Like I love it as much as you guys do, where it's like I love bringing it to you and watching it all the same.
Yeah, it's like almost became like something obsessive for me.
Yeah, like, it's like a compulsion now where I want it to be better every time too. Where it's like it can be better, so it's going to be. That's all I ever. That's how, as hockey players like we are, it's like the competitive nature is there. As friendly as we are too, it's like, but I can be better. I see you being better. I can be better.
Right, and I guess that's a good lead way into kind of doing the Q&A part of this section.
Yeah, we missed some stuff.
if Does anyone have like a dying question they'd like to know about the video? If not, then we'll just
jump into the factoids.
Some facts for you. Maybe we'll just answer what you have to say.
I'm so excited. There's gonna be plenty more too, but I guess the looming thing for me was, unfortunately, when we had Mildred come through and we started talking through this, like, and we had those awesome responses through the Spirit Box and on Spirit Talkers app. We didn't catch it with our ears right away, but like the questions that we asked 100% line up with everything that had to do with the age that Mildred was, that the grave that we were at first, because it was a child's grave. And Riley, if you want to take over and like spit out some of this like background on it.
Yeah. So Mildred was a little girl. She was born.
Reading.
Sorry, it's hard to find.
It's hard.
March 29th, 1903. Was a female, white. She died July 23rd, 1905. So she was 2 years old. She did have 5 siblings. So Trevor at this point had asked if she had a brother, and the next voice we had come through was
Zach.
Was Zachary.
Yep.
And the really weird thing about this is there was a son. We didn't even, so his grave looked exactly like hers, but you couldn't read anything on it.
It was very
washed out. But it was a boy, and he also died at 2 years and 3 months and 23 days or something like that. But they don't know his name. So we find that really, really intriguing that we got a male's name, Zachary, and then a male's voice that said, "I miss you, mommy."
Yep. And that might have been one of those clear Spirit Boxes I've ever heard come through it too.
Even though, like, so a little girl, she might not come through the Spirit Box as a little girl, might sound like a man, honestly. We don't know. Like, no one can say definitively.
Yeah, who's to say how energy transfers in vocal waves? So we don't know.
I think we were actually talking to the baby boy who didn't have a name, because honestly, if anyone's going to haunt anything, it's going to be a forgotten soul, right?
I would think so.
For almost 200 years has even known what this spirit's name is. And he finally had a chance to say his name, and he did. And we weren't connecting the dots at the time. We were connecting the wrong dots.
And what's even more interesting is, before we even started investigating, while we were just walking around getting B-roll footage while it was still daytime, we were just, for fun, we had the Spirit Talker going, and it was saying, "Help us."
Like, the entire time.
Yeah, it basically said "help us" like over and over again, in other ways of saying like "help me." And then as we were walking around, it was very eerie to know that at least 70% of the graves that were there, because of the time it was, were very young. They all died very, very young.
And Mildred died from spinal meningitis.
Meningitis, yeah.
I'm probably imagining that's how the son died as well.
Something, or tuberculosis was also big back then. You know, like
typhoid fever.
I was just gonna say typhoid too. Like, there's so much.
The entire like section where Mildred was almost all children.
And it was the older side
adults,
too.
So the bigger graves were the adults. The tall graves, those are the, the head of the households. So it's very, really weird. So we mostly also stayed in the historical section of the cemetery, because like we don't want to disrespect anyone that's recently died. So we did only stay in the Indian burial ground part, or Native American or indigenous people, however you want to say it. It's the same thing. But yeah, that's the Mildred story. I think at the time when we were doing the investigation, we wanted it to be the little girl, but I don't think we were actually talking to her.
Right. So what do we have planned in August and September?
We have something in the works right now.
Yep, we're lining it up is what we're doing.
We might be doing like our first like collab with someone new. They are really well known, I would say, in a certain aspect. So
and it would be at a haunted location.
And they will be part of our September lineup as well.
So if there's enough,
know who they are very shortly.
Yeah, there's enough breadcrumbs.
The location that they will be going live at as well is also related all into this. So we're not going to.
I don't think you gave it
too
away
many
enough
beans tonight, but yeah, there's the investigation is just part of the huge announcement. You know what I mean? Like we have. If you're wondering about what's coming up, what's coming next for What Goes Bump tonight, bigger
it's
and
one of
better.
these numbers.
Yeah, choo choo. That's what we've been. That's been.
Yeah, the choo choo train's rolling on.
What Goes Bump train is rolling, folks.
Yeah, we haven't been this jazzed up in a long time to be doing anything because we've been so busy with life that it's like, oh, now that we have some downtime, it's like all green lights, let's go. So there was
What's
more
up, Brandon?
to even that story. So like it was like the beginning of that investigation was really light and it felt, like a child presence was there, like for sure. So like that's exactly how I felt. But as soon as that demon thing came across, me and Riley both got real like I don't know, like the weird vibes, but like we're not scared of much. But like also it was just like it feels different now that it's raining and it's the fucking energy is heavier is how it felt for real. And then come to find out this boy has a dream and just happens to tell me about it. And oh God, you tell yours and then I'll tell mine because that's how it happened.
So this was like 2 or 3 weeks after the investigation. Obviously, we were working on the film a lot, and we stayed up really late one night. And I was trying to sleep, and I was to this point where I had my eyes closed, but they weren't completely closed. If you know what I'm talking about, it's almost like you're seeing through your eyelashes, but like you're trying to fall asleep at the same time. And at this time, I had a vivid, I mean, absolutely vivid, like felt I was there vision of the woods at the cemetery. Specifically, that moment when Trevor goes, "Did you hear that?" He's like shining the flashlight through the trees. Specifically, that moment. And as he did that, it was like I was living in it. Goes off of what Trevor said on the podcast many times before. Your dreams could be a extension of what you actually saw in reality. So my brain had seen this vision so many times working on the film, it put it into my eyes and I think maybe gave me the real vision of what was happening and what Trevor may have heard. So I'm looking, as the flashlight's going across, and in the middle of the trees, I see a creature. I don't want to say it's a skinwalker, but that's if you look up Google Images, like that's the best description of what it kind of looked like. It was human-like, but it didn't have hands or feet. It was just straight and like spiky and like weird. That's all I can say. It's just weird. And it had like a demented face with like draping jaw and like gaping jaw. And it like looked at me all weird and like came at me all weird. And then it just like zoomed off. And then I kind of like was still like, it was like sleep paralysis almost. It's the best way to describe it. Literally in my head, I swear to God, because I'm not someone to run from anything. I yelled in my head, like through my subconscious, "Who are you?" And it never did anything. So that's just where I was with that experience. And I've never had anything like that. I don't really get like vivid dreams all that often.
You don't tell me about dreams like this ever. So this motherfucker comes to me and goes, "Hey, I had this dream." Tells me that. And I'm like, no, don't tell me that. Because I had a dream very eerily similar. And it was around the same time that he had his. But of course, I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, I'm dreaming. Who knows? Like, it could be anything. It could be nothing. It could be something. I don't know. But as soon as he said that, I was like, oh shit, I have to tell people now. So I had a dream in the same exact like location in the grave where we were, like when I panned the light into the tree line there and like kind of looked and like went past it, I saw like like to me it was like a large, like emaciated human with like canine like bottom almost and like elongated like facial features, and it was like it had like flesh almost draping off of it.
That's what I was talking about with the
It was like decaying looking, and then it just
yeah.
it just hoofed off all
exactly
fucking broken, and I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "That was a weird
like almost
fucking dream."
zombie-esque. Like almost zombie-esque creature.
I would be like, "That was a necromancer spell right there, boy." No, it was spooky, but I was like, No, you don't tell me that you had that type of dream too. No, 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 no. But yeah, we both had a very similar dream. And I mean, it wasn't like we had the exact picture of what like what he saw and what I saw, but it was close enough and it was in the same location. So it's like, I don't know, it doesn't completely validate it, but it's super, super weird.
Right.
We were working a lot on the video though.
Yeah. So
So
the
there
video
is that
could have
too.
made our brains freak out too. So
Which who
that's
knows?
totally possible.
But it was just super, super odd. And it's like it's worth mentioning. So
but I don't think anything actually followed either of us because I haven't had shit
no.
happen at my house ever.
No, I do think it's odd though that I was after Eden Springs, like we had all that weird like skinwalker talk, and then next thing you know, like we experience weird things like this too. Like I don't want to say it's a coincidence, but like I guess like if it continues to happen, like there might be some merit. But that would be fucking terrible. 'Cause spook fuck. Like
Yeah.
no. Like buddy, no hide good, fry. Man. But what else did we miss while we were investigating? We did go back to Scott's grave at one point too, and it seemed like he had almost lost energy, but like basically was still trying to communicate with us, but like it wasn't real good responses like we were getting with the millimeter and it was a temperature difference going off. And granted, we've never had that go off before, ever in any of our locations. Even when we were at Eden Springs and
We
it was
didn't
like
even know it did
or not
that.
Eden Springs. We were at fucking Eloise. We turned that bitch on. It was like -15 and there was wind chills coming through the building because it was open. It never dipped. It was fine. I would have even said it's broken. So it's like, I don't know how you can say, hey, back up from it and I'll step forward and it just okay, can you touch that?
Yeah, the
What?
timing of it was really strange.
That's where it's the most odd. So that's where I'm like, I can't explain that. Is it paranormal? I hope so. Cause that would be that to me it's paranormal, but to whoever it could be whatever they want to believe. So
Yeah, to me, if anything, that was the most like
that's what got me.
that part and the part where you said you asked me if they could see the rain and at the
That was
same
weird.
time
You were staring into your own eyeballs through your phone. Like you were staring bullets into yourself. That was weird because I literally was like, is it raining? I was gonna say where you are, and you're like, it's raining.
Yeah, and I remember that voice like very clearly too. It was so
it
clear
gravelly man?
It was a woman's voice.
Was it a woman? Okay, because I had two voices. I like a higher pitched woman when you heard yours.
Yeah, I heard a woman a lot during the Estes method, and then there's like a darker male.
Yeah, and when I heard those two people talking to each other, it seemed like it would have been back in the day of like, you know, like just the town starting out because it was like, oh sugar honey, like it was like a southern peach that had just moved here. So it was like super weird because I was like, that doesn't sound like the radio when you have somebody that sounds like they're from the 60s.
The terminology that I was hearing didn't really like the tone of voice didn't fit.
No, it didn't carry, not at all. And it was always in the dips. When I was hearing like when it was like by the power, it was like by power, and I was like, whoa. I was like, that was weird. And it was a low voice too when it said it.
Yeah, like the male that I kept hearing, he was very like overshadowing to everyone. Like he was like, "You're not talking, I'm talking," type deal. Like I'm going to like anytime anyone other spirit would try to come through, as soon as they would come through, he would be like right on top of them.
Do you feel like you can hear multiple voices at once through that spirit box? Because I'll feel like
so
it'll like smush on top of each other.
So much clearer through the Estes method than it is like playing it out loud.
It really is. Also, I'm sorry if the audio wasn't the cleanest for that spirit box. We're probably going to try to do it differently where we record it straight through the spirit box next time so we can have the best audio for you guys. But like we mastered the audio as good as we could. So if there was some parts that were like loud or quiet, let us know because for future references, it's like I'll know to like turn stuff down more. That's the criticism I need right there. Like what was too loud, what was too short, what was too long. That's what I need. But man, that was such a fantastic night. Granted, we got motherfucking drenched by the end of it though. Those trees did justice, but not enough justice. And then one tried to poke my eye out. So that was that too. Also, I cut out a part where it was really fucking funny where I was like fighting a bug for like a couple of seconds, and the bug, no joke, was as big as my palm. And I was like, oh fuck that, get away from me. So it's like we honestly, if we ever wanted to start a second channel, or like if in the future we do Patreon, which eventually down the road we would probably like to, but we're not gonna
a
do
goal
that.
set before we even ever think about doing a Patreon.
Yeah, we're not gonna like try to get people to like out of your hard-earned salaries. No, like we would much rather have like a sponsorship deal or something where a company is letting us promote them because we like their company, and then we're getting back from it, whatnot. Or somebody wants to pick us up for, you will play your stuff on radio and give you this money. Yeah, cool. But I mean, donations are always welcome, but please, by every name of the word, inflation sucks and money is the root of all evil, and terribly, terribly so, we need it. And everybody does. But yeah, I mean, I'm just moving forward. It's like I think this is it. Like I think this is the turning point for us, where it's like it's all like our feet were in the water, but I think we're diving all in for you guys, because this is what we want to
would
do.
like us to do like these Q&As after we do like big
Yeah,
premieres,
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll keep doing them. Because I'm already having a good time just explaining what we couldn't explain in the video.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's the funnest part. Even the funnest part sometimes.
We can even talk about the bloopers too. Like the amount of times I almost fell down a fucking hill into the river. I was damn close to going down. And we cut that part out too, because it was not good, and I almost screeched like a little girl because I like slipped over a fucking log I was trying to step over, and I was like, I gotta get the shot. And I was like, I mean, do I really want to die for it though? And then
there's also a part too when we were walking down the 2 tracks to go down to the river. You almost tripped and like stumbled over.
Oh yeah,
Justin.
Yep, I almost.
You're like grabbing onto them.
Yep. Shout out to them too. No, I mean no offense when I say they have a shitty car, because my car has 300,000 miles on it, rust bucket, and it runs terribly. So I mean, like, I get it.
What didn't make it is me saying, "Well, they probably think my car's a cop." So
yeah, or the part where we're like, "Hey, this is how we met Tommy."
Shout out Tommy, who'll be on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, but I definitely think that Justin and Levi like really, really added that element too, because like having that extra little like background just there to like help us put some like holes together a little bit more, where it's like, oh, that makes more sense now. Especially like where I didn't even notice at the end where I said hang. Like towards the end, we're doing the Estes method after I had gotten up and walked away the second time, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, what did they do with the human skulls?
I think like as the video was going on, me and Trevor have been sitting in this
like
just chatting, and we figured out, like, we connected the dots there, that it said hang and then it said float. And Levi earlier in the day, I don't think it made it into documentary, but he told us that the natives, when people died in the war that happened on the grounds there, they threw the bodies into the river to let them
float them down.
To float them down to Lake Michigan.
Yep. So it's like, that's brutal, but like, hey, we are literally on native land. The reservation is literally butt up against that land.
Mm-hmm.
So like the whole Skinwalker thing has more validation than what meets the eye too, especially since it like is the gravesite of Good John, who was the last known Ottawa at that point. So it's like, it's the history surrounding that place is amazing. And by no means, I know some people aren't going to see this that need to. And I'm going to rephrase this. Have to see this, because Karens are real. We mean no disrespect when we go to these places. I don't understand why people think that just because we're going to investigate means we're going to go desecrate people's graves and their namesake. Yeah, no, like, if anything, we want to bring the light.
Like our goal in this documentary was to hopefully communicate with Good John. That's who we really wanted to.
That at the end of the day was who I wanted.
We realized that his spirit has moved on, and we're not going to get to communicate with him. That's a great thing, because he was a great guy, and there's no need for his spirit to linger here on Earth anymore. Yeah. So then we focused on the souls that have never had a voice. We're talking about
spirits.
We're talking about a burial ground that's been around since 1700s.
It's been around 200.
Their names have never been uttered by a human that's living. for over 200 years. So that's where we kind of changed the focus, is to like, okay, let's find, there's a lot of children over here that no one knows about. Like maybe we can help them move on in some way. Like that's what we want to do as paranormal investigators, right? Is hopefully share the story of someone and then help a spirit move on.
And you saw, like, Dad and me came out and was like, little baby Mildred, like, come give me a hug. And then to have it say, who are you? Like, ask, like, you know, where it's like, whoa,
And that is
apprehensively.
not how I heard it come through.
No, he thought it sounded like something else. But like when we played it back, we're like, wow, that was a lot different from what we heard. But it was also raining. So like some of it probably was muffled to us at the time. But like, thank God the microphone we use and the microphones that we have work well. Because it caught it real clean the way it was interpreted at the time too. Because all we did is boost the audio and like remove some of the background noise, and that's it.
Yeah, we just
So
enhanced
that's what it was.
better
And
to hear.
it was clean too. That's the part that gets me, is like every voice that we heard through that spirit box that night was very like
If
pronunciated.
you were listening like over speakers or something, like by all means, give it another watch
But
wearing
with
headphones,
headphones.
and it will change the experience completely for you as well. And that's a guarantee. That's a what goes bump night guarantee.
Yep. Yeah, headphones at that and those parts with the spirit box, just because it's through like a Rode mic, which they're good, but we would much rather have it off the spirit box itself. So, but yeah, it clearly was like, who are you? And then before that, it was like moment.
I thought
Almost
that
like
was
wait a moment. Like to me, it was almost like, it was like wait, and then we waited for like a couple of minutes, because at that point we, like, that session probably was like 20-25 minutes long.
Yeah, that session with Mildred is totally uncut as well. There's
So when it started happening, it
of
didn't stop.
Trevor's camera work like not being great, or a bug flying in because it makes like a loud sound that might have got cut out, but mostly it was a straight cut. Like the actual video file for that portion is 30 minutes long, and we gave you 21 of it, I think.
Yeah, so it's like the majority of the video was one take too. So it, like we always say, it's waves. It comes in waves. As soon as Scott came through, and he probably used as much energy as he could to come through and communicate with us, it just, everything kind of left, and it didn't feel charged anymore. So we decided it was enough.
Paranormal says that rain dampens the energy, and I believe it, because once it started downpouring, man, they were trying so hard to communicate with us. It was so hard for them.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It definitely makes sense too. And like the thing was though, while we were under the trees, that's when it seemed like we were having a lot of the paranormal stuff happening to us too, where it's almost like everybody was hunkering underneath the trees, especially when I ask you if it's raining. And that makes me like, to me, that's like, are they on this plane of existence, but in a like a form of like a whatever energy state that we cannot physically see, but will manifest when the right conditions are met?
Yeah.
So,
And
like, they're just
speaking of
constantly there.
the red light thing. So
Mhm.
you may be thinking it's a light off of a grave or something. There is no reflectors on many of the graves there.
None.
And if
It's
they
in the
are,
woods.
they reflect green or white. This light literally moves. Trevor's camera still, it moves.
It moves slightly, but you can see it dip and duck, or it's like,
like it goes
floating.
behind something and then pops out on the other side. And it happens multiple times. And we thought it was really weird that they were in the cemetery seeing a red light, but we were also walking around with a red light. So it's like,
we didn't see them until they crested the hill, though, basically to come to us. So I almost wonder if they were seeing that light too.
Yeah.
Especially since if they were hearing stuff, because me and Riley aren't that loud. Like, while we're investigating with just me and him, we keep it to a dull roar. Like, there's no reason to yell. None.
Right. And there's also a house right across the river, and we didn't want to disturb,
No, at no point are we like going to go anywhere and be malicious anyway. So
yeah, respectfully breaking the law.
it literally, when it said illegally or legal or whatever, it was like we were respectfully breaking the law, because I don't know if there's curfews, because I don't know how heavily they're enforced, and counties differ. So who knows? But hey, We had one hell of a night there, and it was awesome. And I really, really, truly think we're going to go back. And if we can speak to those same spirits that were there, I mean, that motivates me to like figure out who they are more or less and like try to help them cross over, like you were saying, where it's like,
it'll probably be
if I can do some good, I would do some good.
Yeah. I think like we especially target in on the kid who doesn't have a name.
Right.
Because I think he really wants to talk more than anyone.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just,
and it could be something dark
so crazy.
There really could be something dark there.
Like I said, energy got real heavy, and then we got that orb that like basically flew around me, where it's like I had the power packs. Like it was all really weird. It was super duper weird, and that's why I wasn't going near the millimeters. Yeah, I wasn't going near the millimeters because I knew I had power packs in my backpack, and I was like, I'm fine. Like, you guys tell me when it's going off.
Yeah, can't say I've ever seen anyone just freely walk around doing that.
Yeah, I figured it would help. Honestly, I was like, maybe if I walk close to somebody, it'll say something. But like, as soon as I walked over down by the river, and it was like, I'm here, or I literally already forgot what it said.
I'm here.
But like, yeah, did it say I'm here? Yeah. So it was like, and it was like a definite like, I'm here, like, and it was pronunciated too, and I was just like, I'm looking down this hill right here that leads down into the river. So I was like, I'm here. What does that mean? And then it's so weird that you guys heard the breaking of the sticks, like after I'd sat down again. Like, huh? What? Oh, I didn't sit down. I was standing. I walked away.
Like,
yeah.
You're running through the woods. Like, it was crazy. Again, I'm not surprised the camera didn't pick it up because it was raining.
Dude, it's because of the rain. The rain is the hardest part with audio. Like, I did my best to clean it up and get it out of there, but like, you could tell by the end of it, it was pouring. So that's even more weird that we were still getting the experiences that we were too when it was raining as hard as it was. And it wasn't lightning. There was not a thunderstorm. It was just rain.
It was also weird that the only time that the millimeter even spiked the entire day when it
my gimbal just went
crazy.
Yeah, that was so stupid. I was completely thrown off guard by that one. It had not done a single like oopsie friend at all.
We will definitely keep doing them then.
Ow, ow. Yeah, no, when my gimbal decided to play no work for you, buddy friend, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then fancy flip-flops and blip-flops only go so far when a spirit decides to touch it.
Yeah. But anyways, I think it's about time to wrap up this live stream because we do have to pack because we will be on the road tomorrow to the Asher Walton Mansion.
Yeah, early.
Indiana. We just released the audio version of the Tommy Toonstone live stream. So if you
I'm working on the rest of them. Don't worry. We're going to schedule
that
out.
And have a chance maybe to listen to it on your way to your excursion tomorrow.
Or your commutes throughout the week.
It's a really good listen, and Tommy's just super entertaining. And I understand if you'd rather watch Tommy because of the mustache as well. So
I'm working on it. Although I kind of cut mine a little short on one side, so it looks a little frumpy.
Don't forget to like this video if you think Tommy is sexy.
Is that still bad? Oh, dear Lord. Amazing. You guys are the absolute greatest, though. You guys are rock stars.
Thank you for all of the super generous comments. Like,
I told Riley I'm not gonna cry on stream, but I will as soon as this ends because you guys humbled me today. As many people that have like said the nice things and just even gone out of their way to like just even give our little channel a chance, and it's like we appreciate you guys so much.
We do. We generally do, and wish us luck.
And remember.
So this might be the last. This might be the last time you ever see it. But remember to keep your ears and eyes open for it really goes.
Bump in the night. You guys are the bomb.